obviously, defensively, we had a chance to make some adjustments, and so it got an opportunity to
on Friday night. How did that come about?
Some guys that are in the trend, that came through the portal. Guys that might not necessarily understand what FAMU football is all about. They've seen FAMU, over the last few years, but FAMU as a national brand has had success for numerous amounts of years. So got a chance to bring in Mr. Chester. He did a really, really good job, and it was exciting for our guys to just see a guy that was in their shoes, right? Or a guy that's been in their shoes, and he did a great job, talking about expectations, talking to him about what it's like to wear the Rattler uniform, and again, hopefully we can have him on again.
Definitely. Albert Chester is my broadcast cohort in the radio booth, and he was excited. He felt like this team was ready to go. Your assessment?
I thought we were ready to go. I thought Al did a really, really good job for us, and but Norfolk State did do some things that were a little bit different, as expected. Obviously, we didn't want to get down 14-0, but it was something that again we were ready for, as you guys saw, and then we settled in and played Rattler football, and was for me, we were really, really good with some situational football, and that was extremely exciting for me.
When you talk about bright lights, worldwide audience on ABC, was that any of a factor with the team?
I don't think so. You got a lot of guys on that football team that have played in the big time, played major college football. Obviously playing in the Celebration Bowl last year. You have guys that have played on the national stage, and coaches that have been on the national stage. So, again, I don't want to take away from what Coach Odoms did with his football team. They did a really, really good job of preparing. We ultimately did a better job of making our adjustments, and obviously you get your offense on the field with 6 minutes left in the game. We talk about not allowing the other team to get the football back, and after 6 minutes, and then it's down to 20 seconds, and our quarterback is doing to me the best play in football. We call that victory, and he did that, and obviously you're excited, and and the whole thing for us was making sure we went 1-0, and then after that making whatever adjustment that we need to make to get ready for Saturday.
Not only was it your first game as the head football coach, but your coaching staff actually had a lot of people in new roles. We'll talk to Henry Burris a little bit later, but what's your assessment of the coaching staff?
We did a really good job. I mean, again, it was, for me, obviously watching how guys work. You watch them in practice, and you're not necessarily kind of pigeonholed where you are in the game, where you're on the sidelines. You got to think. You're talking to your coaches. You're assessing what you see, how you're handling your players on the sidelines and stuff like that. So, thought we did a good job. Similar to what we did with Coach Simmons, right? Guys were on the sidelines making their proper adjustments, and we continue to do that, right? Just with different people, different players.
Yes.
You're not talking to Moose, and now you're talking to Richardson, right? You're not talking to Terrell Jennings. You're talking to Bo Somerset.
Right.
So, again, it was a learning curve for a lot of people. Ultimately, I thought we handled it well. Obviously, want to change a couple things, but overall, it worked. For me, but again, maybe a couple of adjustments we'll do next week.
You talk about game strategy, getting ready for this game, and then there's the real game. Were you guys able to execute your strategy overall against Norfolk State?
Well, we had to make some adjustments defensively. We obviously, what we were doing early was not working. I really, really liked the fact that our offense kind of stayed on par as far as what they were trying to do, and trying to run the football and then mixing in the pass and stuff like that. But again, it wasn't a wholesale. We were going to change everything just because we got down 14-0. We stayed steady with our offense. We stayed steady with our defense, amongst making a minor change that we did, and then obviously our special teams did a great job of turning the field. We had a big time return that set up some points for us. So again, overall a team win, but the biggest improvement is going to be between your first game and the second game. So we're hoping that allows us to do so this week.
It was a very physical game. Were you surprised by the physicality of the game? Norfolk State was extremely physical.
Yeah, well, not really. I mean, we expected, especially playing Howard, in Celebration Bowl, another team that wanted to be physical, that wanted to run the football, control the clock, and so not necessarily surprised with it, but. We had some guys that went that had to get some treatment, yesterday.
Okay.
That don't have to.
So the overall game flow for you, first game on the road, the trip, the travel, how did that work out for you?
Well, it went well. You have your minor things. We had a couple guys that were late into their rooms because the rooms weren't ready. Obviously we just a couple hiccups because of the first trip. It wasn't all football, but again, we we got past it. Got past the hurdles. We didn't bicker. We didn't go against each other. We stayed tight. We talked about being together, the entire weekend. And over again, I was excited for what we did. I'm happy we didn't get into the finger pointing. We stayed together. And we talked about that on Friday night. I talked about that when I spoke to the team Saturday afternoon, and ultimately that held true. We won that football game because we stayed together and didn't finger point with anything. We just stayed together and got the 1-point win.
What was the locker room like after this game?
Which part? Beginning, halftime? To be specific, because the game, you got Titus O'Neil in there, and then at halftime you got your coaches scrambling, trying to make the adjustments, and obviously after you win, right? Everybody's excited and getting a chance to be with family members. So we had a lot of different emotions, beginning, halftime, and at the end. But I liked our smiles at the end of the game.
Definitely. Now you talked about the adversity, and obviously going into halftime, what was the gist of what you had to say to the team?
Well, I spoke to our offensive coaches. We spoke about some things that they were looking to hopefully do, and then defensively, we had already kind of made our adjustments, right? We were down only 14-10, at the half, right? And Coach Henry, just going over the last couple of years, we always talked about that middle eight, right? And when you discuss the middle eight, you talk about the last 4 minutes of the second quarter. Didn't necessarily work out for us, right? But then you get into the third quarter, you get your first drive of the game,
right.
You go down and score a touchdown, then you ultimately take the lead, right? So, there's some things that again I think we could learn upon from the end of the second quarter, and then obviously in the first 4 minutes, 5 minutes of the third quarter, you score. Again, I love what we did at halftime. I loved how we coordinated everything and team. I got the team together at the end, but offensively, defensively, even special teams, they were working diligently to make sure that we were where we needed to be once we started the second half.
We talked last week, folks, about the mental part of the game. How do you think your team responded as far as penalties and the mental part of the game?
I think if I remember correctly, we only had 5. And again, we talked about making sure we weren't going to beat ourselves, right, and making sure we were being disciplined and being detailed. So extremely happy with that. I've been in some games, the last couple of years, we had double-digit penalties.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that was the kind of game where if you had a big time penalty, it could affect the drive, right? And,
right.
Anything unsportsmanlike could affect the drive. So every single yard counted on Saturday night, and we had 5. I thought it was a well called game. They let us play, and which is what you always want. But I think overall, again, I would always say that we could be better. We will be better. But you're excited to get the 1-point win from last Saturday.
Obviously, turnovers are a part of the game. Your assessment of how we handled that?
Well, we were at a point where we could have probably blown the game wide open, right? We were up 24-17. Norfolk was dropping a little bit as far as with the cramps and things like that, and we were going down the field, and it looked like we were getting ready to score again. At least have a field goal, right? So you have a turnover of something like that. It gives the momentum, and then obviously after that turnover, they go down and score, right? So I like the fact that even though we had the penalty, we gave up a touchdown. There's 6 minutes left. Some change left in the game. Offense didn't sputter. They went down there. They got first down after first down after first down and into the game. So we had a lot of different times in the game where there was some adversity that could have affected us, and we stayed strong throughout the entire night.
What was interesting was that point after
tackle. So ultimately he kept it. Ultimately Eric Horn did his job, and and we got the 1-point win.
Talk to me a little bit about that big run by Kevon for Norfolk to look at the film. What exactly happened on that?
Well, they came out with an unbalance, right, and an unbalanced set. So really important for us is that you got to start the line correctly. We weren't. So if you don't start correctly, right, it's hard to end correctly. So we were misaligned. And then they had, we called it counter. They had 2 guys pull on us, and then we had a linebacker get too wide, and we had another linebacker get underneath. So we didn't have enough, and the biggest thing for us is I would have rather that run been 80-81, right? We needed a guy to go get him, give us another opportunity to line up. So You know, I haven't necessarily seen an 82-yard run on any time over here at Florida A&M, but that's what happens when you get misaligned. We had a guy miss a tackle, and then then he was off to the races. So something that schematically they did a good job with. But for us, we were misaligned to start off with, right? If we aligned properly, where they ran that same play 2 or 3 different times, and then we stuffed them because we aligned properly, we communicated properly. So that's the way this game goes. Sometimes you get out of a gap, and you got a running back that can run. That can happen.
And it continued. They were able to run the football there. What were their adjustments for that?
Well, we went back to our day one. We went back to our basic stuff. We stopped all the movement and just made the proper communication. Made sure we were lined up correctly. And they got. I think they ended up with another 40 to 50 yards after the second half.
Right.
Because in their opinion, in their eyes, they were doing a good job, and they were. So they stuck to what they thought they could do. We made our adjustments by just being simple, guys lining up, guys tackling better. So, again, hats off to them. They had a great scheme, but, again, hats off to our defensive staff because they did a good job of making the proper adjustments.
Playing Atlanta, stronghold, were you surprised at the crowd that showed up for you?
Well, it was great, right? I mean, they warned me that they were coming. I guess I should believe them from here on out. But it was great atmosphere. You saw a lot of orange. And I had a couple people asking me what colors we were wearing, and they showed up in the orange, and it was great for college football. Obviously, being on channel, being on ABC. Prime time. I had people from all over the country and all over the world telling me they were watching the football game and told me I need to lose a little weight. So which again that's part of it. But hey, it is true. TV does add 10. But it was great to see, great atmosphere, and all for the product of HBCU football. It was great to see.
Awesome. I'm always curious. At the end of the game, you spoke with Coach Odoms. What did he say?
Well, he told me congratulations, right? And I said to him, I said, man, you guys did a heck of a job. You guys did a heck of a job preparing for us. And in my opinion, I think if they could have had the game they wanted, the way it was, 24-23. I know we finished at 25-24, but if they could have had in our eyes, a low-scoring game that was close, that's exactly what they would have wanted. The way the game played out, that's exactly what they would have wanted. And ultimately we still won, right? So we got a lot of winners on our team, guys that are used to winning, and obviously you could just tell Coach Odoms put the fact that they had lost a lot of close games last year, and that you could tell over the course of their spring and over their off season that they were going to try to make sure that they weren't going to lose any of those types of games. And we pulled through. Again, situational football was great. We made some timely throws, some timely catches. Defensively, we had a couple of timely stops. But I mean the thing about it is that we won this football game, but we were far from perfect. We worked on yesterday. We just worked on corrections. Defense had about 20 plays. I want to say offensively had about another 12 or 15 plays where we just needed to make sure we corrected some things from Saturday, right? And that's not necessarily normal after you win a game like that. Right. So we're steadily trying to get better. We're steadily trying to make sure that we're playing at our best every week, and that's we'll practice tomorrow morning to get ready for South Carolina State. But our corrections were yesterday from Sunday night, and obviously on Saturday. So we got our work cut out for us. We got some things that we need to get better with, and the team knows that.
Definitely. When we return, we'll talk more with the quarterback Daniel Richardson coming up next. You're in tune to the James Colzie Show. We'll be back in a moment.
There has never been a better day to create video for your company with today's social media landscape. Oftentimes, businesses don't have the access to the Hollywood-like production studio at their fingertips while maintaining on a budget. Make it possible with NRB Vision Studio, located across the street from Tom Brown Park. Our 2,000-square-foot studio boosts a high-end podcast suite to film your next episode, a motorized backdrop system to shoot your family portraits, business headshots, or graduation photos, and a full video production room equipped with the same equipment used on your favorite TV show. Get more information at nrbvisions.com or give us a call at 954-348-5887.
Homes are not all alike, neither are home buyers. At The First, we understand. That's why we offer all kinds of options for all kinds of home buyers. Whether you're buying your first home or building your forever home, The First conventional loans, FHA loans, and USDA loans, as well as VA loans for military veterans, even construction to permanent loans. Ready to take the first step and buy your first home? We're here to help you make it possible. Qualified first-time home buyers may even be eligible for down payment or closing cost assistance. Whatever type of loan you choose, you'll receive prompt personal service from bankers who'll guide you through every step of the process. Don't let a loan stand between you and your dream. Call or visit your nearest The First location for details and get started on the road to your new home today. The First, just the bank for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 408229.
Rattler Nation, it's time to strike, strike, and strike again. Support our student athletes, fuel the victories, and be part of something extraordinary. Donate to the Rattlers Athletics Fund today. Your donation makes a difference, propelling our teams to new heights. Together, we can create a legacy that echoes through the stands and resonates on the field. Visit FAMUathletics.com/donate now. Every donation counts.
Tri-Eagle Sales is a proud supporter of FAMU Athletics. Tri-Eagle Sales has been the leading beverage wholesaler in the North and North Central Florida area since 1996. Our 210 knowledgeable beverage professionals service over 2,000 retail customers in our 14-county territory from our 2 facilities in Tallahassee and Ocala. Tri-Eagle Sales, a proud supporter of FAMU Athletics.
Hello and welcome back to the James Colzie Show. I'm Melvin Beal, and joining us here on set is Daniel Richardson, the newest starting quarterback at Florida A&M. First of all, your first win here at Florida A&M. How did it feel afterwards?
It felt great, man. Just excited for the opportunity, for getting a win, and especially in Atlanta. I thought Norfolk, they did a heck of a job, giving us different things, and we was able to come out of it with a win.
Talk to me a little bit about your decision to attend Florida A&M. How did that come about?
I just thought when I entered the portal, I was just looking for a program that I could come to, a winning culture. The last program I was at, had a little shaky things that going on, but I thought FAMU was the perfect fit for me.
What did you know about FAMU from a football perspective? Obviously, national champions. Did that play a factor?
Coach Willie Simmons, he was here 5 years ago, built this program up. And a lot of great quarterbacks that came through this university, and just like I said again, a winning culture. I watched the national championship last year, and that was basically my decision.
Definitely. Now you actually played high school football in Miami.
Correct. Is
that correct? And you ended up going to Central Michigan. Talk to us a little bit about your run at Central.
I thought it was a good run. I was there for 4 years, won a Sun Bowl there, and under Coach McElwain, I thought it was good. Played in the cold, so I had got different atmospheres. Playing weather. But other than that, it was great.
What about your transfer into Florida Atlantic? How did that go about?
I graduated, so I had that conversation with Coach. I wanted to come back closer to home, so that was my decision to go back, into the portal and go back closer to home, and under Tom Herman, and therefore.
Definitely, big time quarterback competition from the spring to this point. How did that competition elevate your game?
I thought me and Junior, we helped each other. We made each other better. We competed every day in practice. We both ran with the 1s and 2s, and it just carried on through the summer.
And when you think about that competition that transferred into the game, what did Norfolk State do that was sort of outside of the game plan?
We thought they were going to play man coverage. That what we seen on film. They came out, in the first quarter, different looks, and we had to make adjustments. We were down 14-zip, and, told the guys we just got to calm down. We done played in this position before. Even though I wasn't here last year, but a lot of guys were vets. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we made it happen, went down and got our first touchdown, and after that, we was on the road.
How are you gelling with your coaches? You have a new offensive coordinator that you're experiencing, as well as offensive staff. How's that going?
I think all our coaches are great. I have a great relationship with all of the coaches. Coach Henry is a special play caller, I think. Especially being his first year, but he knows the game. Coach Burris, playing in the league, playing in Canada, great mentor, on and off the field. Just learning a lot from him. especially in the film room. Just different things that he see, and that's pretty much it.
What was your adjustments during the course of the game? Obviously, you had to figure Norfolk State out. You said you thought they would be in man. What was your adjustments to them?
I was really just seeing what the safeties were doing. That was really the main thing, and what that nickel was doing, because they had 8 returning starters. That was the biggest thing. They had a kind of veteran defense. So just seeing what they was doing rotation wise, and making my reads off of that, and after that making good checks to put us in the right position.
If you would have to assess your game, talk to me about your passing.
I thought I was very accurate. That's what I thought. Especially in the first quarter, I made a couple low throws, but after that I was able to get my feet under me and make the correct throw.
You made some heady decisions out there, folks. He ran with the football. Talk a little bit about that version of your game.
I really don't run that much. People don't know. I really sit back in the pocket, but if you allow me to run, I will take advantage and run.
Now, the wide receivers, you seem to be on page with them. Talk about that chemistry between quarterback, wide receivers, and tight ends.
I think all our guys are playmakers at the end of the day, and any guy that we put on the field, coach trusts them that they go in the game and make plays. And I feel like one of the guys that definitely stand out was Gassett. Him stepping up to the plate, being that X-factor receiver that we needed, to give us that spark.
Definitely. Let's transfer over a little bit to the student side of the game. You're working on your master's now.
Correct.
What did you get your bachelor's in?
Entrepreneurship.
Really?
And minor in management, yes.
You want to be a businessman?
Yes, I want to own funeral homes one day.
Really?
Being that, yes, sir.
Why did you choose that?
I started when I was like 16. One of my spiritual uncles, my dad actually, my dad actually a pastor in Miami, in Greater Love Full Gospel Baptist Church in Miami, and I just one time I was at a funeral with him, and I seen a young boy doing. I was like, it's interesting. I could do that. And then my dad was like, man, I could put you on, and so I started when I was about 16, and after that I just got into it, and then next thing you know, the rest is how I go.
Well, it's definitely an interesting business to be in. But you mentioned spirituality. How has that helped you as a person, as an athlete?
I always put God first through everything, and between when I talk to him, I just tell him, give me strength, keep me healthy, and just make me make the right decisions.
Definitely. Now, when you start talking about your transition here to Florida A&M, well, school's starting now, you're talking about being an entrepreneur, and what is your master's going to be in?
Business administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll make it work for you.
Yeah.
How do you balance that life between student athlete?
Well, it's kind of tough. Taking 4 classes. When I came here, I took 5 classes. A lot of people didn't know I took 5 classes, and I also took 4 classes in the summer.
Wow.
So I was doing classwork and practice, staying up late, and then with the master's program here, a lot of the classes are not online, so I have to go in person. So after I leave practice, I go to class at 5 to 8. Sometimes I don't get out to 8:30.
Wow.
And then I got to go home and study, get ready for tests, because the master's program you mainly do tests. It's not too much work, but it's just like that test is very quality.
So how has that gone for you?
It's been good. It's good. It's good. I'm ready to graduate in December. I might not walk across stage because it's the same time as Celebration Bowl. But,
Right. He's speaking that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to get that master's degree.
How would you assess your leadership skills? How are you relating to the players on the team?
I think I'm a very people person. I like helping others, and at the end of the day, you just got to be that leader, that quarterback, that field general, to lead the guys, and the rest is going to be history. Have
you had a chance to get across campus, kind of learn a little bit of the landscape of Florida A&M, and what have you learned?
I learned a lot just about Greek. Like, I'm also Greek. I'm Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. That's one thing, and just different atmosphere, getting to meet different people. Like, I walked around campus today. A couple people was like, "Oh, I see you on TV. What's up, man?" Just to get different connections, because at the end of the day, that's what take you the long way.
What has been the difference coming from Florida Atlantic to Florida A&M? And I'm talking on the field, competition-wise.
I think, just about the competition the same, because at the end of the day, back then, a lot of people wasn't thinking HBCUs, and now that, we getting more publicity, a lot of guys are transferring from Power 5s and Group of 5 schools, and now, guys are just playing at this level, and I think this is just about the same.
Definitely. What did you do in the off season to get ready for this particular season, mentally first?
Really, I mean, I just stayed true to the course. I mean, stayed after workouts, practice, just working on my game, and just in the film room, just watching film, watching other quarterbacks. That's pretty much it. Coach Burris also put like one of the quarterbacks, Pat Mahomes. Everybody think he just go out there and throw deep, but he just take little quick passes, and that's things we work on.
Do you have aspirations to play at the next level?
Most definitely. That's definitely my goal.
What do you think your strengths are?
My strengths is making great decisions. Able to be a playmaker on the field, making accurate throws, and when the defense gives me opportunity to run, I'm gonna take it. Just
curious, your overall assessment of this football game against Norfolk State.
I thought I could have did a lot better. I mean, at the end of the day, they said I won MVP. I thought the offensive line did great.
Yes.
Zero sacks. I mean, that's a plus. I had 0 turnovers. At the end of the day, you have 0 turnovers, you lose the game. Even though we had the 1 turnover, but at the end of the day, I thought we did well.
Congratulations on being named the HBCU Player of the Week nationally. Where do you see this football team going this year?
At the end of the day, we focus on South Carolina State. That's the next one, and that's the only one we're looking ahead right now.
Definitely. Folks, we've been talking with Daniel Richardson, the new quarterback here at Florida A&M. He's a Florida guy, and he's returned to Florida. He's playing at Florida A&M. You're in tune to the James Colzie Show, presented by Visit Tallahassee. We'll be back in a moment.
FAMU football season is ready to strike. Cheer the Rattlers to victory and be entertained by the Marching 100 this football season at Bragg Memorial Stadium. When the game is over, you can explore even more excitement in Tallahassee. Explore over 700 miles of trails, sway to the rhythmic tunes at the Bradfordville Blues Club, sip on a beer from our many craft breweries, or dine at one of our incredible local restaurants.
Homes are not all alike, neither are home buyers. At The First, we understand. That's why we offer all kinds of options for all kinds of home buyers. Whether you're buying your first home or building your forever home, The First has you covered. We offer conventional loans, FHA loans, and USDA loans, for veterans, even construction to permanent loans. Ready to take the first step and buy your first home? We're here to help you make it possible. Qualified first-time home buyers may even be eligible for down payment or closing cost assistance. Whatever type of loan you choose, you'll receive prompt personal service from bankers who'll guide you through every step of the process. Don't let a loan stand between you and your dream. Call or visit your nearest The First location for details and get started on the road to your new home today. The First, just the bank for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 4.
Rattler Nation, it's time to strike, strike, and strike again. Support our student athletes, fuel the victories, and be part of something extraordinary. Donate to the Rattlers Athletics Fund today. Your donation makes a difference, propelling our teams to new heights. Together, we can create a legacy that echoes through the stands and resonates on the field. Athletics.com/donate now. Every donation counts.
Tri-Eagle Sales is a proud supporter of FAMU Athletics. Tri-Eagle Sales has been the leading beverage wholesaler in the North and North Central Florida area since 1996. Our 210 knowledgeable beverage professionals service over 2,000 retail customers in our 14-county territory from our 2 facilities in Tallahassee and Ocala. Tri-Eagle Sales, a proud supporter of FAMU Athletics.
Welcome back to the James Colzie Show. I'm Melvin Beal, and joining me here on the desk is Henry Burris, the co-offensive coordinator. First of all, talk to us about what does the co-offensive coordinator do?
Well, pretty much my main role is to, have Coach Joseph Henry's back. You know what I mean? I work in unison with him, just trying to, compilate together and come up with the best game plan possible to put our players in the best positions to be successful. But also, we try to, as far as delegate, different roles as far as not only to myself but to our assistant coaches, our position coaches, just allow each and every coach to continue to work towards their strengths but also grow their weaknesses. And I kind of help delegate those responsibilities, but also just try to lighten the load as far as in my area of strength, which is, of course, the passing game and working with the quarterbacks.
Talk to me a little bit about, because you also specialize and you coach the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Talk about that quarterback room here at FAMU this year.
Man, highly competitive. And you know what? this is one of the best groups when I talk about in this entire country, it's our room here. I mean, we've got guys that are capable of stepping in and making things happen and that we can win with on this team. And I'm blessed to be as far as a part of that room with not only great players and great athletes and great leaders, but also great men. And I'm thankful to be in that room. I tell them that each and every day, how much I love them. I look forward to coming to work and giving the best that I can to help them reach their full potential, not only as men off the field, but also as quarterbacks, wearing the beautiful orange and green on the field and trying to do whatever we can to get those W's.
You obviously, when you talk about having a loaded quarterback room, it's a lot of competition that's created. It came down to the last two guys, Daniel Richardson and Junior Maritovich. Talk to me about that competition specifically.
Man, it was a battle to the end. I mean, I think Coach Colzie had his Polaroid camera. He took a photo finish, and D-Rich won by a nose. But you know what I mean? If you look at another sports context, it was almost like the Kentucky Derby, because each and every guy has true ability. They're blessed with gifts from up above, and breakdown of the entire body of work that each and every guy presented and what they did, not only in spring, but also the build up through fall camp, through the last scrimmage. Daniel Richardson just did those little things that it takes to be the leader of a team, especially a championship caliber team. Just to give a quick example, he took his offensive line following this game and didn't give up any sacks to Waffle House.
Wow.
To see a guy doing that type of stuff, that just shows you it's not just about him. It's about him being thankful and also showing how thankful he is to the guys. And that's when you're building a championship culture, a guy who truly gets it. And I only talk to the younger guys that are in our room, in the quarterback room, as far as these are the things that you need to do as far as to get these troops, as far as in the room, to follow you into war, because each and every time we step on the field, it's a battle. And when you have somebody that you can believe in, that'll go to the ends for you, that'll make sure that you get not only just that 100% out of your team, but sometimes 120%. They'll go the extra mile for you.
Definitely. There's a healthy competition there. How close are these guys?
You know what? Not far off. Not far off. And when you talk about a guy like Junior Maritovich, when you talk about gifts, he's probably one of the most gifted, if not the most gifted quarterback in the room. A strong arm, very athletic, can make all the throws. He knows the offense inside and out. There's little things that he's continuing to work upon. And again, there was some disappointment when the decision was made, but he's working his butt off. You can see that he's supercharged out there. He's got pinpoint focus. He's working on accuracy. He's working on timing, but also the little things that you saw as far as from Daniel that juniors continue to work on is making each and every snap count. No matter if it's a regular pass in Indy or just one of the practice snaps, you want to make sure you live that out like you're in a game situation. Making sure you scramble, throw the ball away, which we saw Daniel do throughout the course of the game when things weren't there. As far as you want to always reserve the right to punt the ball and also to see the next down. Don't pressure anything. Don't force anything, because this is one of the most friendly offenses as far as for a quarterback that you can also go to work and develop and also, operate as well. So he made the right decisions, but these were things that he did in practice, and these are some of the things that guys like Junior and the young guys are starting to pick up from a guy like Daniel with his wealth of experience.
Folks, Coach Colzie talked about there was a plan to play Junior. I'm sure we'll see him this year. Talk about that, the plan to eventually play both.
Oh, 100%. At some point, Junior's going to have to step in, and I have no doubt that when he steps in, he's going to light the world on fire. That's the type of trust that we have in both him and Daniel. We feel we can win with both guys, but we had to ask ourselves the questions, who's doing the little things? Because you could see, the gun show was on when it was out there. These guys are slinging the ball. One slings a touchdown. You see the other make a face. He comes back, throws a touchdown. Daniel leads a two-minute drive for a touchdown. Junior's like, okay, it's my turn. He does the same thing. It was a tough decision, and even when I would go in to Coach Colzie and he's like, okay, who is it? I'm like, Coach, I don't know. He'd look at me and go, I don't know,
Right.
We had to sleep on it, but it was a tough decision. But, you just saw the little things that Daniel would do to galvanize the team. And again, through the end, iron sharpens iron. And that's when he talked about the fact that Junior helped make him better and he helped make Junior better, as well as Austin Hooker, as well as Bryson Martin, and so on and so forth. But, we got a room full of talented guys. And trust me, when Junior gets his opportunity to step in, he's going to do his thing. Trust me on that.
Definitely. Now, folks, the other part of the offense starts out there with the running backs. We struggled a little bit against the runs. Talk to me about and your assessment of the running backs during this game against Norfolk State.
Well, first of all, you got to give Norfolk State a lot of credit, because when you talk about chemistry, having 8-9 returning starters, I mean, they showed just that. I mean, they were gap sound. I mean, their linebackers 15 and 58, they were stuffing holes. I mean, they were whenever they saw a run, those guys were downhill like Scud missiles, and they found ways to make plays, and they were really getting good penetration. And that's why for us, the run action pass was so prolific for us. There were huge opportunities out there whenever we showed some type of run action. Those guys were right downhill trying to make the run stops and so on and so forth. But Daniel did a great job of showing the ball, pulling it last minute. Gassett and company, as far as in the wide receiving core, Kobe Gross and Carter Johnson, those guys are doing a fantastic job of finding the open holes, knowing when to tempo it in the zone hole and when to run away in man situations. But again, we always tell defenses you have to pick your poison. And the thing is, when they started just having a single high safety, that means they got 8 guys in the box. Every gap they had a guy for, and they did just that. They were gap sound. They played rough and tough football, but they played like a team that had been together. As on the other side for us, we played like a team that was getting to know one another. Especially when you have Thad, when you have Wu, when you have Bo Somerset, the wealth of running backs that we have, just wear them down. And that's the type of offensive line that we have. There's going to be some boom or bust situations because we're going to depend on those guys and make the run happen. But I can always guarantee you one thing: as the game goes on, we continue to stay on the field. Possession, we're going to eventually find a way to start to wear defensive fronts down. And that's exactly what happened. When we needed it the most on that last 6-minute drive, we stayed on the field and didn't give the ball back to Norfolk, and that was because of the play.
Definitely. Now, you have a plethora of running backs back there. What is the plan? Are we going to go committee, or you just want somebody to step up and take the job?
Well, it's a long season, and again, you always want to keep a backfield by committee because, again, you don't want to wear one guy down as far as in the early part of the season. But we know there's going to be times where certain guys are going to make their moves and take over the backfield. So, hey, we're waiting to see who's going to be that guy. But for the time being, we're going to make sure each and every guy gets an opportunity to go out there and show their true skill set, because they each bring something beautiful to the table that's going to make our offense as prolific as it is and can be. Wu is a multi-purpose back. He can make things happen on the outside, inside between the tackles. But as we saw in the Celebration Bowl, you get him out as a receiver, he can make plays happen down the field, as well as Bo and as well as Thad getting his first touchdown catch. A nice little deep pass.
That was really nice, yes.
Put it right on the dime.
How involved will the running backs be in the passing game?
Oh, each and every running back has true potential out of the backfield. I mean, they're not only great protectors, which is first and foremost what we look for to make sure they're protecting the quarterback, like always, but also, the thing is, we not only want these guys to be able to run between the tackles and be that threat with the ball in their hands, but now all of a sudden we can motion them out, do different things with them, whether it's out of the backfield protecting, getting out into their route late as far as first protection, then the route, or splitting them out wide as far as in just regular sets and getting them out as far as running routes and in man-to-man situations. We believe in these guys and whatever they're asked to do, and that's why we're lucky to have that type of backfield. And we talked about it as quarterbacks before the season started. We are blessed to have this type of backfield because it's going to take a lot of pressure off the quarterbacks from having to drop back each and every. You got a dual threat offense where you can run the ball, pass the ball, and just have success in either way. It makes it a blessing as far as for a quarterback to go out there and do their job and not feel any added pressure.
Coming out of this game, what are some improvements you're looking for from the offense over?
Off to a fast start. I mean, again, you got to tip your hat off to Norfolk. They came out and they played like a team that was on a mission. They played like a team who knew who they were, and they quickly proved that. But for us to maintain that composure that we did, not only as a team, the players, as far as rallying each other, but as a coaching staff offensively, that we're new together. We stay cool, calm, and collected. But again, we know we need to get out to a faster start because we know South Carolina State, they got some playmakers on both sides of the ball in all three phases, and we got to make sure coming here at home at Bragg, we got to make sure we get off to a fast start because that's what we intended to do. We didn't get the job done, so that's our full intention to make sure we do just that and continue doing the little things, taking care of the football, managing the clock well, and making sure when we have opportunities to put the ball in the end zone, we do just that.
Definitely, folks. As you can see, we are loaded at offense. This is our offensive coordinator. They're going to make some adjustments, and look out for the Rattler offense exploding next week against South Carolina. You're in tune to the James Colzie Show, presented by Visit Tallahassee. We'll be back in a moment.
There has never been a better day to create video for your company with today's social media landscape. Oftentimes, businesses don't have the access to the Hollywood-like production studio at their fingertips while maintaining on a budget. Make it possible with NRB Vision Studio, located across the street from Tom Brown Park. Our 2,000 square foot studio boost a high-end podcast suite to film your next episode, a motorized backdrop system to shoot your family portraits, business headshots, or graduation photos, and a full video production room equipped with the same equipment used on your favorite TV show. Get more information at nrbvisions.com or give us a call at 954-348-5887.
Homes are not all alike. Neither are home buyers. At The First, we understand. That's why we offer all kinds of options for all kinds of home buyers. Whether you're buying your first home or building your forever home, The First has you covered. We offer conventional loans, FHA loans, and USDA loans, as well as VA loans, even construction to permanent loans. Ready to take the first step and buy your first home? We're here to help you make it possible. Qualified first-time home buyers may even be eligible for down payment or closing cost assistance. Whatever type of loan you choose, you'll receive prompt personal service from bankers who'll guide you through every step of the process. Don't let a loan stand between you and your dream. Call or visit your nearest The First location for details and get started on the road to your new home today. The First, just the bank for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 408229.
Trust, loyalty, and commitment are the Tallahassee Police Department's core values. They led me to join the force 22 years ago. My name is Lieutenant Danielle Davis. TPD is looking to hire individuals with the willingness to serve. We offer up to $11,000 in hiring bonuses, competitive salary, and benefits. Apply today online at talgov.com/join TPD. Be the difference you want to see.
Since 1985, Apogee Signs has been North Florida's preferred sign company. We believe in quality, professionalism, and complete service. Apogee Signs, a proud supporter of FAMU athletics.
Welcome back to the James Colzie Show. I'm Melvin Beal, and we have head coach James Colzie. He's returned to the set. And, Coach, you know, we talked to Coach Burris about the offense, and really they found themselves there. The other part of this game was played on defense. Talk to us a little bit about your overall assessment of the defense.
Well, you look at the stats, and you're seeing the defensive backs are leading in tackles. And obviously that's not really what you want at all times. And again, some things that transpired, in the beginning of the game. We had to get our guys settled down, and with the new technology that we have, with being able to look at plays on an iPad and things of that nature, getting a chance to really, really divulge into what was going on, and it allowed our defensive coordinator and the rest of our defensive staff to kind of sit down and go through some things, and we made the proper adjustments.
Talk to me about the new technology. Yeah. That is a big
there was a play last year. I would think when it comes to mind, we were playing Howard, and they ran a little counter, and the tight end pulled, which was a little bit of a different type of play that the tight end pulled. So then we go back and look at film on Sunday, and Kendall Bowler was right. The darn tight end did pull. Where now with this advancement of technology, we don't have to necessarily say that a player may or may not be telling the truth. We can just make the adjustment right from there.
Good.
And so we got John Lowder, who's our director of video. He handles the laptop. We got our video people that are filming the game, and you go through a series. It's the series is on your iPad, and you can just kind of go through it and look at the mistakes or the great plays that we've made, and you don't have to necessarily, you kind of keep the players kind of out of it, because sometimes things happen too fast.
Right.
You're not necessarily maybe getting all of the information. Where now with the iPad, you're seeing the wide, you're seeing the tight, you're seeing everything.
Folks, there's been another rule change this year in college football. It's the 2-minute timeout in college football, similar to the NFL's 2-minute warning. Is that an effective tool?
Well, definitely. I mean, that allowed me to, right before they kicked their field goal, I called timeout then. And ultimately they ended up, missing that field goal. But, it allowed me to call timeout then, knowing that no matter what, I was going to have a timeout with the 2-minute warning. So, in the first half. Right. So that was, that was great for us. It always, it's something that they're doing. I think a lot of it has to do with, the amount of money people are paying, to watch college football and to show college football. But ultimately, you're now sitting there with an extra timeout at each half. That, if you feel you may want to burn one for some reason, you can, but then with the 2-minute warning, and then we had another 2 timeouts that we were able to use. So, it's great. I did feel that the game was a little bit longer than they normally have been, but obviously when you're playing on ABC and ESPN and all these people are involved, somebody's got to pay the bills, and
right.
So we understood that.
Definitely the TV timeouts. Let's talk a little bit about this defense. Let's start right up front at the defensive line. Rate their performance over the night.
Well, I think they'll tell you straight up, first couple drives, right? They didn't play very well, but part of it was our alignment. We weren't lined up right. We weren't getting, our linebackers are the ones who are supposed to set our fronts, and we weren't doing that, and Norfolk took advantage. So, but once we did get it going, and once we got our guys aligned correctly, number 0, number 90, 99, all those guys started making plays, and our front, our outside guys started putting some pressure on the quarterback. So, it's hard to end right if you don't start right, and I think we learned that as the game was going on.
What do you do to correct that? You obviously made the adjustments, but talk to us a little bit more about why you think they were misaligned early.
Well, just getting our keys. Again, you had starting defensive end David Westmoreland. It was his first time being in a Rattler uniform. Number 90, Cam Donald, first time being in a second time being in a Rattler uniform, but he wasn't necessarily a starting defensive end for us last year. So he was getting, he was coming into a new situation. Jerome Nichols, our starting Mike, who was the one for alignments and stuff like that. It was his first time being in a Rattler uniform in the game. So you got some guys with some jitters, maybe seeing things, maybe seeing too much, right, and not necessarily kind of honing in on what they needed to hone in on. But I guess for us, it's us lining correctly, us making sure we're in the proper gaps. It's extremely important for what we have to do run defense-wise, and that's ultimately what Norfolk State did. They took advantage of us not being aligned correctly.
So schematically, we were prepared.
Yes.
It was the execution part.
A little bit, but yes, with the execution, and then they started giving us some unbalanced stuff that, when you unbalance us, we're supposed to now have a new center, right? So you're supposed to move over one gap. Then they were shifting to something else. So, what we were getting ready for, ultimately, what we call it the ox formations, the unbalance. We went over that a little bit, right? Well, we concentrated on a lot of stuff that they had done last year at the previous institution that he was at. So they didn't do that, right? So now we have to make our adjustments, which again, Coach Patterson, Coach Walker, Coach Pope, those 3 guys did an amazing job of getting us back going. Our guys didn't. They came to the bench hungry for whatever information that we could provide for them when it was time to go over the adjustments. I had to do some stuff with the defensive backs on the board. Coach Patterson and Coach Walker were doing some things with the front. We got together, we sat down, and after the beginning of the second quarter, you truly saw what our defense is all about.
You said that you actually scouted Alcorn State.
Yes.
That's where their offensive coordinator was coaching last year.
Yes, sir.
How much did they look like Alcorn State?
None at all. We're worried about deep balls. We're worried about a bunch of curls and under routes and things like that. I mean, they threw the ball. I think they threw the ball 11 times. You know what I mean? So we're sitting there thinking they're going to throw the ball 30, 35 times. They ran it for 40. They rushed 43 times. They threw for 10 or 11 times, if I'm not mistaken. So that was not the game we were preparing for. But ultimately, they wanted to keep it close, running the football. It was our job to get them out of that game and make them throw the ball, which is now our advantage because now we can use all of our defensive ends and defensive backs that we brought in from the portal to get out there and cover. So Norfolk State did a really, really good job of keeping our really, really good athletes on the sidelines, and that was to their advantage, right? So we want to get you in third down and long. We want to get you on, the third and long, and third down and extra long situations. We only had about 3 or 4 of those situations because of the amount of times Norfolk was, when it was third down, third and medium, third and short, manageable situations for them. Us, defensively, third and long and third and extra long. That's our friend.
Talk to me a little bit about linebacker play and defensive backs.
Well, our linebackers did a good job. We played multiple guys. Obviously, we last year we were using number 0 and number 28 religiously. This year, obviously we got some guys that that are learning their way. And they have the ability and the talent to play like their predecessors from the year before. But playing linebacker for us it's a heck of a lot more than just making tackles. You got to look at where the backs are, because based on some of our calls, the formation is based on the back. Some of the other calls is based on the formation of where the tight end is. So another couple of our calls are based on where the formations is, right? So at times, and again, as our Mike linebacker and as our striker, it's important not to see everything, right? And even though you think you need to, you don't, right? You got the call. What's my key to determine what my call may be? So we weren't as great as we needed to be in that situation, and ultimately, like I said, our defensive backs had they made more tackles that night than they normally do, and obviously we had the big run, but it could have been a little bit worse if our DBs don't make some of the tackles that they made.
You're very connected to the defensive backs. Your assessment of their play.
Well, we gave up 2 deep balls. Then that's not necessarily like us, but we had to make tackles. We had to be a tackling group Saturday night, and excited about what they did. As far as giving us an opportunity to line up, we had a couple plays where we punished their running backs a little bit, but we're gonna need to be versatile as far as playing coverage, and then also having to make tackles every once in a while. So I thought we did okay in that aspect, but I'm not a big fan of the 2 deep balls that we gave up, because we were in position but didn't play the football. So and that's something that we work on quite a bit. So we'll continue to work on it. Apparently I didn't work on it enough, and that's on me. And we'll make sure we're good to go for the rest of the season.
Quickly, special teams play overall.
Michael Smith kicking the ball in the end zone. That's what we need. Trey Wilhoit, obviously one of the best punters in the country, did a great job of pinning them. Cameron Gillis going 1 for 1 on field goals, and obviously being perfect on extra points. So they were their usual steady self. Flip the field once in a while, and then obviously Jamari Gass had a great return.
Yes.
To set up. So we won the game primarily because of what our special teams did. We won the game primarily because of the adjustments our coaches made on offense and defense, and we're gonna I'm always gonna want more. I'm always gonna expect more from those guys.
Yes.
But I thought overall, good win for us. Teamwork, stuck together, went through adversity, overcame it, and got the W.
Well, it's back to the grind for the Rattlers as they get set to pick on South Carolina State, another MEAC opponent on Saturday in Bragg Stadium. When we come back, we'll talk about the scouting report for South Carolina State. You're in tune to the James Colzie Show, presented by Visit Tallahassee.
Rattler Nation, it's time to strike, strike, and strike again. Support our student athletes, fuel the victories, and be part of something extraordinary. Donate to the Rattlers Athletics Fund today. Your donation makes a difference, propelling our teams to new heights. Together, we can create a legacy that echoes through the stands and resonates on the field. Visit FAMUathletics.com/donate now. Every donation counts.
There has never been a better day to create video for your company with today's social media landscape. Oftentimes, businesses don't have the access to the Hollywood-like production studio at their Vision studio located across the street from Tom Brown Park. Our 2,000 square foot studio hosts a high-end podcast suite to film your next episode, a motorized backdrop system to shoot your family portraits, business headshots, or graduation photos, and a full video production room equipped with the same equipment used on your favorite TV show. Get more information at nrbvisions.com or give us a call at 954-348-5887.
FAMU football season is ready to strike. Cheer the Rattlers to victory and be entertained by the Marching 100 this football season at Bragg Memorial Stadium. When the game is over, you can explore even more excitement in Tallahassee. Explore over 700 miles of trails, sway to the rhythmic tunes at the Bradfordville Blues Club, sip on a beer from our many craft breweries, or dine at one of our incredible local restaurants. Plan your trip to the highest of 7 hills at visittallahassee.com.
Trust, loyalty, and commitment are the Tallahassee Police Department's core values. They led me to join the force 22 years ago. My name is Lieutenant Danielle Davis. TPD is looking to hire individuals with the willingness to serve. We offer up to $11,000 in hiring bonuses, competitive salary, and benefits. Apply today online at talgov.com/join TPD. Be the difference you want to see.
Since 1985, Apogee Signs has been North Florida's preferred sign company. We believe in quality, professionalism, and complete service. Apogee Signs, a proud supporter of FAMU Athletics.
Welcome back to the James Colzie Show. I'm Melvin Beal here along with Florida A&M head football coach James Colzie. And the Rattlers turn their attention now to the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, who will come to Tallahassee looking to make a statement. Coach, they have a new coach as well. Yep. So talk a little bit about your assessment of this South Carolina State team.
Well, it's similar to last week, right? You're looking at a team that you don't necessarily know very much about. You know Coach Berry, though. You know they're going to be hard-nosed. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to want to establish the run, and they're going to want to punish you, right? And I think those are the things that, as a team, we know, and we'll get to them starting tomorrow morning. But you know, you're kind of picking at what you're looking at. We had a chance to look at his Benedict team offensively and defensively and special teams wise, and exactly what we thought they'd be. You know, they run the ball. And then every once in a while, when they do throw it, they're throwing it outside. So we know there's about 12 to 15 guys that have transferred from Benedict to be a part of that South Carolina State football team. And believe me, a part of that was, you know, for them to show those other guys what this culture's supposed to look like. So they'll be well organized. They're going to play hard. And in typical South Carolina State fashion, they're going to be really, really good on defense. They're going to want to punish you. But, you know, we're ready for it.
Right. They haven't played yet, but what are you expecting from them on offense?
Just, you know, have some personnels where they're going to be similar to what we saw last week. You know, the ox formation, unbalanced. They're going to run the football. When they throw the ball, they're going to spread you out, right? And the quarterback's going to, you know, they got to transfer from Virginia Tech that we feel will probably be their starting quarterback. So, you know, when they run it, they'll let you know. When they throw it, they'll let you know. And but the biggest thing for them is they got a bunch of guys on the offensive line that have returned, which says to us that, you know, they're going to want to make sure they major in running the football.
What do they look like on defense?
Well, you know, they lost some really, really good players on defense. But, you know, again, a few of their transfers did come, a few of their guys from Benedict and transfers that they've acquired throughout the spring and through the summer were defensive guys. So, you know, we're trying to figure out whether he's going to be a 3 down or he's going to be a 4 down. And so, you know, it could be a little bit similar to what we had last week, just trying to figure out and understand what they may do. But, you know, I think Coach Henry, Coach Patterson, and Coach Gamble, all three of those guys will be ready to go once we get going Saturday.
And special teams wise, they have you don't know.
Don't know. I mean, I can say this. I mean, I know they got one of the best guys coming back as far as one of their punters. But, you know, you don't know. You don't have a depth chart. You're kind of just sitting here just hoping. And that's what we did the last couple of days as far as getting ready for them. We've been looking at Benedict. And, again, he did a great job over there. And with the success that he had over there, you know, you kind of find it hard to believe that he's going to change what he's done since he's got the South Carolina State. So, you know, you don't know. But, you know, he's had a bunch of success. All the guys that were with him at Benedict, they're all now with him at South Carolina State, and you know, and he's done a really, really good job. You see the guys that he's recruited. You know, I know South Carolina State over the last couple of years did not have the type of years that they've wanted to. You know, I think, you know, obviously with Coach Berry, he's trying to change that, and it looks like he will.
What is the changes for the Rattlers now that school has started? Has the practice sessions changed any?
Well, you know, we had, you know, 25 to 30 days of training camp, and we were holding them, you know, meeting them in the morning, practicing, eating, and meetings. You know, obviously when school starts, you know, you got the 20-hour rule.
Right.
It goes into effect. So starting tomorrow, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we'll practice at 6 o'clock in the morning, go back to kind of our regular schedule, and then Thursday we'll start practicing at 3. And then Friday's either a travel day or it's a meeting day as you get ready for your game on Saturday. And then after the game, like I mentioned earlier, you know, we'll practice Sunday at 7 o'clock to get ready for that next week.
How excited are you to be coming through that tunnel at Bragg Stadium?
Well, you know, I've done it on a couple other occasions, but not necessarily on this occasion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, you know, I get a chance to walk on practice field every day when we get that chance, and you know, I'll probably have maybe some different emotions once it hits Saturday. But you know, my biggest job right now is making sure we get this team ready to play on Saturday, because the South Carolina State Bulldogs, they're going to come in ready to play. So we got to make sure we meet them at that as well.
Definitely. Rattler fans, we want you to get out to Bragg Stadium and support this team. They are telling me that the fan color is going to be white this weekend against South Carolina State. But more importantly, let's pack this stadium, Bragg Stadium, and bring a true home field advantage. You've been in tune to the James Colzie Show. We'll be back next week. Take care of yourselves.